Hi, hello friends. Today we will discuss about cloud jargons.
The AZ of cloud computing terminology. Community cloud refers to a multi-tenant infrastructure that is shared among a limited set of individuals or organizations like heads of trading firms or banks. While the organizing principle of community may vary, the members typically share similar performance, privacy, security and compliance requirements such as audit requirements. Container registry. The central place for your team to manage container images, perform vulnerability analysis, and decide on who has access to what with fine-tuned access controls. During the CI/CD process, developers should have access to all the container images required for an application. Hosting all the container images in a single instance enables users to identify, commit and pull images when they need to. Content Delivery Network is a system of distributed servers that use geographical proximity to provide alternative server nodes for users to download resources. Each node in a CDN caches static content like JavaScript/CSS files, images and other structural components. CDNs account for a vast amount of content available to end users online. Companies such as Amazon and Microsoft operate their own CDNs to complement their various cloud offerings. Container is a virtualization instance in which the virtualization layer runs as an application within a shared operating system, enabling the use of multiple isolated user space instances. As opposed to virtual machines, DMS containers don't require a full OS for every instance. Data breach. A security incident in which confidential, sensitive, or otherwise protected information is accessed or disclosed without authorization. Data breaches may involve personally identifiable information (PII) or personal health information (5) intellectual property or trade secrets. Data breach. Businesses and corporations are extremely attractive targets for cybercriminals, mainly due to the vast amounts of data that can be nicked in one fell swoop. If a data breach results in the violation of industry or government compliance mandates, the offending company could possibly face fines or other civil litigations. Data classification. A diverse process of categorizing and sorting data into various forms, types or any other distinct class, based on various criteria or methods. The process is particularly important when it comes to data security, compliance, and risk management. Data center refers to virtual or physical infrastructure used by an enterprise to house and maintain back-end information technology infrastructure such as servers and networking systems, for the storage, management and dissemination of data and information pertaining that particular enterprise. Data loss prevention (DLP) refers to a suite of tools designed to ensure that critical corporate data is only accessed by authorized users and there are safeguards against data leak. Data loss prevention (DLP). The DLP applications utilize business rules to protect and classify critical and confidential information so that end users cannot maliciously or accidentally share critical information. The DLP policies are a crucial component of an organization's comprehensive security measures. Data controller. The person, company, or body that determines the purposes for which and the manner in which any personal data is processed. They are the manager of personal data and they instruct the processor. Data controller The data controller ideally works in their own autonomy, processing collected data via its own processes. However, in some instances, the data controller has to work with an external service or a third party. Under the GDPR, the data controller is responsible for ensuring that personal data that falls under their ambit complies with the regulations. Data migration is the process of moving data between storage systems, data centers, servers or formats. Data migration is typically done to replace or upgrade servers or storage equipment, relocate a data center, or conduct server maintenance. Scripts or software apps are used to map system data for automated migration. Disaster Recovery Plan (ERP) is the area of security planning that deals with protecting an organization from the effects of major disasters that destroy part or all of its resources, including data records, IT equipment and the organization's physical space. A data recovery plan maps the quickest and most effective way work can be resumed after a disaster. Desktop as a Service (DAS) is a cloud computing service in which the back-end of virtual desktop infrastructure (DPIA) is outsourced and handled by a third-party CSP. In a DAS delivery paradigm, the service provider is responsible for managing all back-end responsibilities, including data storage, security, upgrades and backup. The service is typically provided on a subscription basis. DevOps development and operations is a term that is being used in several different ways. In its most broad definition, DevOps is simply a philosophy that emphasizes communication, collaboration and integration between software development and IT operations with the goal of streamlining software development and quality assurance. DevOps development and operations. A DevOps technology stack may include configuration tools like Chef and Puppet, the repository such as GitHub for version control, indexing tools such as Splunk and scripting languages like JavaScript, PHP and Perl. Distributed computing is a computing concept in which the components of a software system, such as applications and data, are distributed among multiple computers to improve performance and efficiency. Distributed computing relies on network services and interoperability standards that specify how they communicate with each other. Data ownership. Having control and legal rights over a single piece or a set of data elements. The data owner is accountable for the data within a specific data domain. It defines the provision and definition of the rightful owner of data assets and the acquisition, distribution, and use policy implemented by the data owner. Data is essentially an asset that belongs to the enterprise, but it still needs to be managed. Some organizations assign owners to their data while others shy away from the concept. Data Protection Impact Assessment (DPIA), the method for identifying and minimizing potential privacy risks within an organization. The EU's GDPR includes multiple new rules and some old ones that companies have to follow in order to keep their customers' personal information secure. Data Protection Impact Assessment (DPIA). Performing the DPIA for all your high-risk data processing activities is a surefire way of demonstrating to authorities that your organization complies with the GDPR. Data Processor. Any person aside from the employee of the data controller who processes data on behalf of the data controller. The data processor doesn't own the data they process, nor do they control it. This basically means that the data processor is incapable of changing the purpose and means in which the data is used. Data processor. Additionally, data processors are bound by the instructions their data processor gives them. Under the GDPR, the data controller and processor have several similar duties and have to adhere to similar principles.